weapon damage. This effect can occur every 15 seconds. It's an interesting one, I guess. Sounds pretty good, honestly.
For magical decay, maybe.
It's going to depend largely on the size of that ring, because it doesn't say much on that. But I mean, either way, the One Piece is great. Like, stamina and magicka is really good. One thing I really like that they've done with that set, which is great, is that they made it spell and physical depending. So it means that both stamina and magicka gets a chance to use that. I do like that. That looks a solid set. One Piece really good. The two piece will be great if the AoE is big enough. If not, it'll be like whatever. And you are getting damage from that ring as well, so I mean you probably are going to stand in it, I guess. Anyway, Flame Blossom, max magicka, spell damage, spell pen. When you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to summon a line of fire that moves forward, dealing 8,000 damage to an enemy in its path. This effect can occur every 10 seconds. Interesting. This could be deadly on a Mag Decay. Anything that's about when you deal damage is going to go super good on classes with a lot of dots, because if you're running a lot of dots, chance to proc it is very high. It's going to come down to how avoidable that AoE is, I guess, but as a DK you're going to be able to root them pretty hard. That's a big proc. Disturbing. That's going to hit hard. I think that's a bit strong, to be honest. I think that damage needs a relook at. Hopefully the PTS will look at it. Keep in mind these are PTS notes, not main patch. They may well get nerfed. Blood Drinker medium, weapon crit, weapon damage, weapon crit. Don't like all that crit, but increase the damage you deal with bleed damage over time effects by 20%. Oh.
What?
Could you imagine that on like a red mountain or some sort of dotish Stamsork? I hate those.
Yeah. They fucking kill duels. I mean,
yeah, running like that's going to be pretty nasty in Jaws, because Jaws are really based around axe bleed.
Because axe bleed is not OP already.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. I still don't think I'd necessarily use it though. I do think there might be better alternatives, but that's pretty strong. Hargraven's Garden, heavy. Health recovery, healing taken. When you take damage while under 50% health, excuse me, you summon a preservation of nature around you 5 seconds. Any damage taken from enemies outside of it is reduced by 50%, and the first time an enemy tries to enter the preservation, they're knocked back 5 meters. Okay. This effect
I can see many throw things.
It's not really going to be a relevant set. I mean, it only lasts 45 seconds, and it's only lasts 5 seconds and 45-second cooldown. That's not really a relevant set. No one's going to use that. Earth Gore Monster, healing done. Bleh. When you heal a friendly target that's under 50% health, you conjure a pool of quenching blood underneath them. Oof, sounds tasty. Which soaks up enemies' placed effects instantly and heals. So, okay, so that's like a negate. That's going to kill all ground effects off. I think that's what it means when soaks up enemy placed effects. If there's a path or whatever on the floor, it's just going to take it away.
I'm going to run this.
Yeah, pretty good. And heals all friendly targets in the area for 30k over 3 seconds. Can occur every 35 seconds. Pretty long cooldown, but that's actually a nice set. I don't think that's overpowered. I think it's going to get some use. I like that one. I do like that. That's interesting. You die, no one cares about that. Okay, new Battleground game mode, Chaos Ball. This mode introduces a single ball in the game. Sorry, women, you're looking for a man with 2 balls, but in the case of this, there's only one available, and your team earns points by holding the ball. Okay, you can carry the ball around and use your abilities freely. There are no other requirements for scoring other than holding it as long as you can. When they say abilities freely, do you reckon you can use like magma armor, streak, and cloak and that sort of stuff? I hope you can't use that sort of stuff. That'd be a little too strong.
Yeah.
I think if you could streak with that, you're just going to end up with people running away, basically. But, I don't know. Oh, there's definitely a point in saving the keys up. So if you are doing Undaunted dailies and all that stuff, definitely save it up. Because at the bare minimum, that first set in the first dungeon is really good. The one with the magicka stamina. There's no sigil of powers in this game mode. Nice to see. The game enters a team score of 500. Holding the ball comes at a cost, as it has a stacking, healing, and shield debuffs. It's like Captured Flag, basically. As well as push pulsing oblivion damage to all enemies in the area. Oh my god.
Including the ball carrier.
Woof! It's going to be casualties in that game mode, I'll tell you that. That's pretty strong. New Battleground map as well. Arcane University. Sounding sexy. Better than a university. Yeah. It's an arcane one. You get the space chicks walking around. All game modes including the new Chaos Ball are active in this new zone. Okay, you don't need to own any Imperial DLC pack to play in it, but you need to own it. So Morrowind, obviously. Access to University identically to all Okay, it's exactly the same, but it doesn't say much about it. Miscellaneous medals have been added to Chaos Ball. You earn a medal for each tick of scoring while holding the Chaos Ball. You can earn additional medals for holding the ball for at least 30, 60, or 90 seconds. I guess it's going to be an achievement for each. Time-based medals are awarded when the ball is dropped or the match ends. Okay, pretty obvious there. That's fine. Healing medals have been adjusted to trigger off low values across all game modes. It should result in more medals being earned for support play. That's nice to see. It was a bit low before. I like that. 4 new motifs. We'll get those. I'll just buy those, no problem. And then base game patch. Miscellaneous quality of life improvement skills. Don't care about that. Crafting improving. Equipped items can now be improved. That's a bit of ease of play. I like that. You'll no longer be warned about an item could be destroyed if the upgrade chance 100%. That's nice. Just saves a bit of time. Combat queues. I don't really care about that. Now deposit alliance war points and RIP vouchers. That's really good for a person who has one crafting character and things like that. I do like that. That's handy. Nice to see. Updates for RIP merchant. It's gold furnishing plans replaced with new stocks. There's now new gold furnishing plans for each profession. I'll buy those. No problem. Champion point up 30. It's to be expected. Almost every major patch that happens. This is just about the templates. You're going to see me doing that. If you do watch my live stream, of course, you can tune in every day. You will catch me on the PTS a bit, I guess. Big change here. Major change coming in. Renamed the Battleground main game mode. Capture the flag to... Brace yourself. Capture the relic.
Whoa, shit.
Big boy change.
OP.
Alright, we'll skip through this art and stuff. Combat. Ward and balance changes. Animal companions. Cutting dive. This morph can now be cast while you're silenced. What?
I guess that's the stamina morph.
Oh yeah, true. It's probably the stam morph, which I guess makes sense. I mean, every other stam morph is allowed to be for every other skill. Budding seeds. This morph can now be cast even if an enemy targeted in your reticle. I don't really know what that is. That one doesn't really do anything. Crystallized shield. Update this ability. Its morphs to indicate the maximum damage they can absorb from a single projectile. Don't mind that. Matter that. Doesn't matter that. It's just about enemies. We'll ignore that stuff. Anything in the crafting and that sort of stuff? Don't think so. Dungeons, just a few patches. Achievements. Fix an issue where killing lives drop. They didn't fix Sanctum achievements still. That one's really annoying. Nothing too much in here. Nothing too much here. I like this one. Slaves, and now he's still from. You monster. Quite a fun one. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. It's just quests, UI. Dark Brotherhood. Bounty Hunter. Basilisk power no longer switch between melee or range. I don't know what that is, to be honest. It's a monster ability, never mind. This doesn't matter too much. Doesn't matter too much either. Doesn't matter too much either. Art and animation, combat, itemization. Tell me if I miss anything, guys, but I don't think I will.
Combat balance. Oh my.
Wait, let me get to that one. Let me get to that one. This is just stuff about a few dungeon changes. I'm not that fussed on that. Alright, here we go. Combat balance. Adjusted elemental status effects such as burning or concussion. So they now scale with your max magical or max stamina in addition to your spell damage or weapon damage. Their damage has been adjusted due to this new scaling and should remain relatively unchanged, with an exception to burning, which now deals approximately double the damage of before. See, I actually like that because, especially in the example of stamina decay, you can proc burning pretty reliably from your volatile armor. It was pretty ridiculous that a stamina decay could do just as much damage as you as a magica decay with the same skill. I like that change, actually. Poison now deals a total damage over 6 seconds, down from 12 seconds. We'll see how that changes. Don't really know how much of effect that has. Concussion and chill secondary effects. Minor vulnerability and minor maim now lasts 4 seconds, down from 6 and 5 seconds. Again, not a big one there. Actually, I guess that concussion could be decent in PvE. That might be quite a big change. That might change the way people go with that way. We'll see. Dodge rolling now grants immunity even when you're silenced. Okay, that just makes sense. It's just a bug fix. Ardent Flame, combustion. This passive ability now increases the damage of burning a poison by 25 to 50%, down from 33 and 66. Not too fussed. It's still going to deal great damage. Don't really care much on that. Dragonic Power, Dark Talents, Ability and Choking Talents morph now deal magic damage instead of physical damage. Finally, dude, finally, you can get an AoE minor maim properly. It was so ridiculous that was a stamina morph this whole time. It needed to be changed so long. So that makes the second morph for talents actually viable now, and it is really good. I like that a lot. Obsidian Shard increased the radius of this heal and its morph to 28 meters from 10 meters. Whatever. I'm not fussed about that. I mean, it's not too great a skill anyway. Surge. This ability's morphs now use your highest critical strike rating to determine their critical strike chance. Interesting. Don't know if that changes much. It probably did that most of the time anyway. Werewolf, that's just animation increases fire runes. Not too much going on there. Oh, it's now hidden to enemy characters. Cool. That is actually cool. I like that. Because at the moment, mage, I mean, you place a mage rune on the floor. You got to be fucking stupid to walk into that without blocking. I see some people get CC by that, and you're like, how did you get CC by that, mate? You could see this huge orb on the floor, like,
yeah. Don't
walk in there without blocking, or preferably just don't walk in there full stop. So that's quite good. That makes the skill a little more viable. I like that change. Buffs and debuffs. Major mind at the file. This now also decreases the enemy health recovery, baby. Yes! Finally!
GG.
A counter to Twat King. I like it.
If you look at the notes, it actually tells you that. Like, that's how they done it.
This introduces more counterplay against health recovery builds. I love it. Finally, there is a way to debuff people who just stack health recovery. Brilliant.
See the Mundus.
Mundus stones. Mundus stones and values have been retuned with a focus on improved overall diversity. Almost all Mundus stones were buffed with the exception of the Thief, which was slightly nerfed due to its overshadowing whatever. The level was completely redesigned to grant spell and physical penetration to counteract the Lady. And the Lady now gives both spell and physical resistance. Interesting, makes them more viable. We've also standardized the values against other systems that grant similar bonuses such as enchantments and sets. I like that. It always was ridiculous that there was no reason, for example, to go Apprentice. There was no point because it was always better to go with Atronachs point by point. So I think that's a good change. Values have been adjusted as follows. So, Apprentice increased... Oh, they just did the same recovery. Well, I guess... Actually, that would make Apprentice slightly better than... I think Apprentice is slightly better than Atronach. How much spell damage does a spell damage glyph give? And how much...
174. That's actually better,
how
yeah.
How much magical recovery does a magical recovery glyph? 169, right?
Yeah.
The same as the weapon.
It's the same. I think it's 164. Let me see if I'm still on here.
74.
169 is recovery.
Oh, okay.
174. Maybe that's scaled on my thing though. Maybe it is the same. I don't know. If that is less, then actually Apprentice might be the better choice. I guess we'll see. I don't know. So Lady is good, Love is good. We already went over those. Lord increases your max health by more. Who cares? Mage, I love that increase. Mage is great Mundus. I love that Mundus. I use it a lot. Very happy with the change on that one. Thief crit chance is reduced. Shadow and Ritual remain unchanged. We'll see how that affects PvE. I guess it's still probably the best, but we'll see. And then all the others are basically the same increased percentage. I think Shay said it's around 25%, which would make sense. Come on, fix and improve it. In an effort to reduce the visual effect noise in group situations, we've hidden most visual effects from persistent damaging effects cast by your allies. Area effect abilities that have synergy, healing, or defensive component that can benefit will still be visible, and an area of effect ability cast by enemies will still be visible. That is a really good choice if it works. If that works, that could be a really good fix for lag in Cyrodiil. So one of the biggest causes of lag in Cyrodiil is these huge animations flying. You've got 60, 70 people colliding in a mosh pit of shit in the middle, and they're all spamming AoEs and shit. I don't want to see that. I want to see who I'm killing. I don't care that one of those guys is casting a fire blockade 40 miles away on some level 12 Templar. Firstly, the Templar should die anyway, and secondly, I don't want to lag because of this nonsense spam of AoE. So hopefully that will work out. There's no guarantee, but that might work out to affect the lag a bit, which I think is why they've done it. I like that. I think that's good. Also some set items doing the same. I think they're even going to say that. Having less visual effects will both improve visual clarity and performance. Exactly. I knew that was what the reason was going to be. Summon pets will no longer despawn and respawn when attempting to follow you. Just makes it cleaner, I guess. Sending your pet to attack now waits until your pet reaches its target to start combat. That's good. Wastes a bit of time otherwise. Dragonic power. Nothing on there. Two-hander, reverse slice, fix an issue where its ability's morphs would grant slightly less than 300% against a target at 1% health. Who in God's name tested to find that that was dealing less execute damage at 1%? Who was the person who bothered finding out that that 1% health made a difference? I don't know. I mean, credit to the guy who found that out. That's quite spectacularly impressive. I bet you I know people who would find that out, but all the same, I mean, it's crazy. Destruction start. This is just sort of animation changes. Same again. Weapon traits. I heard about this stuff. So they've been rebalanced with a focus on improving overall diversity. Almost all were buffed with the exception of sharpen and defending, which were nerfed due to them overperforming. Interesting. They should still remain one of the strongest options for increasing your damage and survivability, but now power difference between them and other traits is no longer so massive. Prosperous was completely redesigned. Excellent. What about training, though? Should be an interesting choice for builds seeking to maximize resource recovery gains. Interesting. Pairing the divine trait of a recovery Mundus stone will grant more recovery for a particular strat. Prosperous give more recovery overall. Okay, let's have a look what they've done. Okay, so decisive. Increase the chance to generate ultimate to 40% from 34%. Still useless. No one's going to use that. Defending. Oof. Like a 40% nerf on that. Penetration going down a lot. Wow. That's a pretty big hit. Infused. Bonus on the enchant to 30 from 20. And increase the cooldown to the applied enchant to 50% from 40%. Don't really know how that's going to work. None-owned. Increase the damage bonus of the weapon from 15%, from 11 to 15%. We'll see how that goes. Powered, increase the bonus to healing done from 9% to 7%. Still don't think you're going to see that. Same with crit. Still don't think you're going to see that. None-owned is going to be the big one. Infused could be interesting. Sharpen and defend, we're going to have to see how they fare. Charged, intricate, ornate, and training remain unchanged. Okay. Prosperous has been redesigned to give it a combat function. It now grants 11 health, magic, and stamina recovery as a gold quality item instead of gold gain. Reduce the damage of the damage health oblivion enchant by approximately 6%. I mean, it's not enough of a nerf, but it's good that they're starting there. Should get at least 20-30%. I mean, it's outperforming every other set. There's no counterplay. It's got the same cooldown as it, so in the end, it should be doing roughly the same damage. Otherwise, it's a no-brainer when you're going for it. Why take a glyph that does fire damage, for example, when this one will always do more damage? So that needs a relook at, I think. I don't know how I feel about the sustain. I mean, probably should have renamed the trait, I guess. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I still don't think I'm going to use that. I mean, if you've got 7 pieces, you're going to gain like 100 recovery, and you're going to lose so much other stuff. So I still don't think I'm going to touch Prosperous myself. But it does make it more viable, I would say. I still think from an armor point of view, your go-to choice is going to be Impen Sturdy and Divines for PvP, personally. Developer comments, proc set changes and monster mask balance. Brace for impact. I hope your testicles are ready to celebrate because something is about to get better. Item sets have received 2 major rebalancing effects. This update with a focus on introducing more counterplay to certain item procs and improving diversity in monster mask choices. Good. To introduce more to certain item set procs, we've changed the method in which they deal damage. While happy with the current damage value to the sets, having them deliver the damage is unavoidable in bursts has led to unsatisfying experience amongst these items that have unique mechanics to delay their damage, along with accompanying visual effects to allow more time to react to them. I mean, it's a start. To go hand in hand with the release of 2 new monster mask item sets, we're rebalancing most of the older monster masks to ensure every monster mask conforms to similar damage, healing, and survivability. Most monster were brought up in power. Oh, most. Okay, thank God for that. There were a few adjusted slightly downwards. Here we go. So, health, magic, and stamina have been increased by 13%. So I think that's going to make them the same as a master weapon, which would be like 1056, something like that. Weapon and crit rating has been raised by 55%. Whew. Physical spell resist has been increased and penetration decreased on those monster sets. I don't know anyone who uses the pen sets anyway, but we'll see. Any monster summoned by an item set proc now inherits any bonuses you have. The most notable bonuses are damage done and healing done from passive abilities, major buffs. So they're going to scale with your buffs now. Bloodspawn.
Game changer.
Bloodspawn. Decreased Massively. Game-changing break incoming. The amount of ultimate restored. Brace for impact. And there's an earthquake going on. From 15 to... I can't even say the word. It's that much of a nerf. 14. Alright, that's not even a change. Death to win. This item now grants crowd control immunity after knocking the back. So basically, Death win just got even more useless. Decrease the damage of Groftar by 10%. And Alambris. It's going to change how things work in PvE. I like the Groftar change. That was definitely overperforming in PvP. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how that fares. In the end, PvEers, don't cry about it. Everyone's getting nerfed. It's not like just your Alambris build is getting nerfed. Every Alambris build is getting nerfed. So cool your testicles. It's all good. Niriant. Increase the damage of this item set by 20%. It's still not going to be relevant in PvE. It's too avoidable. But maybe in PvP, if people... sorry, not in PvP. It's not going to be relevant in PvP. It's too avoidable. Unless you're running some huge snare build, maybe. What does Niriant actually proc on? Let me see. I've got a...
direct damage.
Is it direct damage?
Yeah.
Health, when you do direct damage, you have 10% chance to do it. It just takes 3 seconds to avoid. I mean, it's pretty avoidable. I don't know if that's too relevant. I wouldn't use this, though, I think. Lord Warden increased the radius to 8 meters from 5 meters. Bit better as a group buff, I guess. Not terrible. Night Flame increased the proc chance of this set from 5% to 3% and changed the one piece to max magicka instead of max health. Night Flame is finally useful. The only reason, of course, is because the one piece is magicka. The health, 5%, is still not going to be used in my opinion. I'm not going to use that. What? Poisonous Serpent increased the proc chance of this item set to 50% from 25%, but decreased the damage to 3,400 from 6,800. Oh, I really don't like that one, Zenimax. Don't like that at all. So
that's the new Viper.
Yeah, that's going to be new Viper basically. So it's going to make Poisonous Serpent. They're going to have to relook at that one in the PTS. I hope that gets well reviewed on the PTS. It needs to be changed. Yeah, so the reason that's really bad is that even though they've nerfed the damage on it, the overall pressure coming out is going to be the same, but 50% proc rate. I mean, I don't even know if that set has a cooldown, quite honestly. If it has a cooldown, that might be okay. If that doesn't have a cooldown, which I have a bad feeling, I think it's a 2-second cooldown, which might as well be none. That's going to be proccing constantly on a well-made stamina DK. I don't know, we'll see. Celine. This item's set proc now displays a hostile telegraph to enemy players indicating its area of effect. I still want to see a damage change to that. I think that needs a 10-20% damage nerf. If you're CC'd, you really can't avoid that. It procs very often. And honestly, I can still predict Celine. You can hear Celine coming. You hear the bear. You do have time to react. I get that they're trying to make it more reacting, and that's a good start. But I do feel it needs a bit of a damage change still. I think the damage is still a little out of whack for that one. I'd personally nerf it 20%. It's still going to be viable. But yeah, that's just me. Solistrix. Increase the damage this item's proc by 30%. Decrease the time it takes down to cooldown. Take the proc from 1.5 to 2 seconds. Increase the cooldown to 5.5 from 5. Alright, Solistrix is going to be a really good set for stamina now. It's going to be very, very strong. Solistrix was already good. I can't wait to test some of these sets on the PTS. I think that's going to be the only true way to see whether they're strong or weak. I'll definitely put as much feedback as I can to Zenimax this PTS. They are listening quite a bit more. I do feel that Solistrix is... I don't know how I feel about that one. It did need a buff compared to the others, but... I mean, that's going to be really deadly now. It's CC and it's hitting hard. Yeah. Shadow End changes the item set to occur when you take damage instead of dealing damage. That's actually good. That makes it a bit more reliable to proc when you actually need it. Increase the proc chance to 15% from 5%. Alright, so Minor Maims going to be a lot more up. It's actually going to change a lot. I think that actually makes Shadow End more viable. So Shadow End puts Minor Main debuff on anything it hits. It's actually a really underestimated set. Even at 5%, it was pretty good. I did like the set for a decent amount. I think that you're going to see some people using that. Not everyone, but I do think that's a good set, especially now it's dealing magic damage. It's going to scale your stats pretty well. I think Shadow End's going to be pretty visible.
I I think to run that with the new
It's
set
really good.
with the heavy attack.
Yeah.
The heavy attack heal.
Quite viable, yeah. Shadow of the Red Mountain. This item's proc set now spawns a volcano that erupts after 1 second and launches a projectile at the closest enemy instead of instantly dealing unavoidable damage. Here's the problem, you see. It can deal a projectile, it can spawn a volcano, but if it's not an AoE you can avoid, it's still not avoidable. You're not going to be able to roll dodge or block that projectile every time. It is a help. It is a help, and it's in the right direction. Again, the only way I'm going to know this stuff is testing in the PTS. I would say it's a nerf, but we'll see how these things look and how they play and things like that. I want to see that. Shield Breaker. This item procs only on the first cast of a Restoration or Lightning Star. Thank fuck for that. There were certain builds, at least on PC, I don't know how it was for the other platforms. Certain wankers would see me as a streamer on a magic shield stacking class. They'd slot that shit and start heavy attack spamming with a channel. It's so horrible to deal with. So I actually really like that one. It sounds minor, but there's people who troll with that all the time. Slime Crawl. Change the one piece to a double one piece of both weapon and spell crit chance instead of health recovery. I guess it makes it a little better. I don't know. It was always a good set anyway. Mafala. Increase the damage that sets proc by 5% and change the one piece to max stamina instead of max health. I don't even know what that one does, quite honestly. Let me check that again in ESO. Mafala. When you deal direct heavy attack damage, you create a web for 10 seconds that deals 1,300 poison damage every 1 second and reduces enemy speed by 50% every 10 seconds. So they changed it to... They have the proc chance. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's that great. Stormfist. Increased the shock damage of this item set by 10%. The physical portion remains unchanged. I like that. I mean, the shock was always a bit low, so that's probably a good change. Swarmother. Decreased the cooldown. That's fine. Doesn't really change much. Velodreth. This item's proc now occurs after a 1 second display and displays a visual warning on the set wearer. So in the case of Velodreth, this is going to be different to Selene and Red Mountain. This will really affect Velodreth because Velodreth has an orb that you can actually avoid that's not targeted. It's coming out of that object, right? You can see it on the ground. You have a time to know it's just procced. I need to move away from it. So I move away from it. I see it coming. You get time to react to that. I don't know if that's the case of Selene off Red Mountain. Again, just got to wait and see on the PTS, and I will definitely be streaming that a lot to see. Viper Sting. This item's now procs. Deal it over 4 seconds instead of dealing it instantly. Big improvement. It makes it a dot. It's still actually doing a shit ton of damage. But I think you'll see a lot less people doing that because it's not the instant one shot out of no reason. I like it. Widowmaker. This item's set proc now deals a spore on the ground in front of you that explodes after 1 second. Good. That's a more avoidable object. Good. That's the sort of stuff you need to do with this stuff. Put it on the ground. Give the option to move away from it so that a class has to build to holding them locked in place. I like it. It's a good change. But Widowmaker, it's nice. I noticed Scoria isn't changed on here. That's interesting. I think Scoria is pretty strong. I'm not complaining, but I think that probably needs to look at as well. Fix the ratio, blah 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 blah. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. Something else about ready checks, but they're fixed at the moment. Battleground queues, rejoice, they're working. Audio, crafting, and economy. Couldn't give two craps about that, to be honest with you. Don't really know why they changed that. Nothing on there, nothing on there, nothing on there, nothing on there. Nothing on there. Again, guys, tell me if I miss anything. Oh, they fixed some of the law books. That's quite good. Housing, justice system, miscellaneous. Not much here. Not much here. Not much here. Not much here. I mean, that's all of it. Alright, so I will be testing this stuff on the PTS a lot. If you're someone watching this on my YouTube rather than live at this moment, say hello, chat. You are welcome to catch my stream, of course, twitch.tv/blobeso. You would see it in the description when I highlight this video and put it on YouTube. Welcome to catch me testing all of these sets on PTS. I really want to I love the testing side. I really want to see how the procs perform now, how the change affects it. I'm going to keep the feedback rolling. My biggest tip to you guys is keep the feedback constructive. If you go to those with, oh, it's overperforming, No one cares, right? They hear some whining kid, they're like, sod it, I'm not interested. So try keep it productive, make a forum thread saying, I think this needs a relook, explain why, and all of that stuff. That will help. Did I miss a change to Troll King? Wait, what was the change that I missed to Troll King, guys? Someone's saying that Troll King is useless now. What did I miss?
Maybe they're talking about the minor the file.
That wouldn't make it. I mean, that wouldn't make it useless. It would still be proper strong. I don't see any change to Troll King. Maybe I'm blind. I don't know. But yeah, I think I've covered everything, guys. I hope you found the video useful, interesting, whatever. I'm going to start releasing videos a lot more regularly. And yeah, I'll start reviewing the stuff on the PTS actively. Expect a few videos testing some of this stuff. And I'll see you on the next one.